Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to go through the 25 books I want to read in 2025. This year is the first year that I am doing a reading journal, and of course one of the prompts or spreads that I did for my reading journal was 25 in 2025. So I thought it would be fun to film a video and go through the 25 books that I want to read in 2025. I guess let's just get started. I don't know if I'm going to go into detail about what these books are about, because for starters, a lot of the times I go into books blindly. I of course hear little things about them here and there, especially on like Book Talk and BookTube. I will see and hear people's thoughts, but I try to stay away from spoilers and a lot of things about books. So a lot of it I go into blindly with knowing just like the bare minimum. So I don't know, this might be more rapid fire and probably not super in-depth about what the books are about, but I'll probably talk about them if I know a little bit about them. Let's just start with the books that I have on my 25 and 2025 that are new releases. I have 6 books that are new releases that come out in 2025 that I want to read. So we'll start with those and then we'll get into all the books that I have on my physical TBR. So starting off strong, the first book that I have that I want to read is Onyx Storm. It is the 3rd book in the Empyrean series, or the 4th Wing series. I am so excited for this book. I really need to know what happens after the ending of Iron Flame. I will be dropping everything and reading that as soon as it is in my possessions. So that's the first book that I want to read in 2025. And then I have Sunrise on the Reaping. This is the newest addition to the Hunger Games saga. I love the Hunger Games. They were books that I loved growing up, and I've reread them since then. I think I've read them a total of 3 times. The first time I read them and then 2 times rereading the whole series. And I love them, so I am super excited for this new edition, and especially because it's Haymitch's games, and I love Haymitch. So I am super excited to see. Of course, I already know how it turns out. Haymitch obviously wins his games because he becomes the mentor for Katniss and Peeta. So obviously he wins his games, and you kind of know already how he wins the games if you've read the books, because they go into very little detail and briefly mention how he wins. So I'm excited to see how it all plays out though. Super excited for that one. And then I have Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is the last book in the Powerless trilogy. I am excited for this one. Reckless was a little bit of a let me down this past year, so I'm really hoping that Fearless makes up for it. But the ending of Reckless still made me super excited for Fearless, so of course I already have it pre-ordered. Those 3 are the ones that I already have pre-ordered. The next 3 are ones that I have not pre-ordered yet, but I am still super excited to read them because they're all by authors that I love. Next is Great Big Beautiful Life. This is a new Emily Henry release, and I am so excited. I have loved every single book I have read by Emily Henry. So this one I know is just going to be just as good, hopefully, and I am super excited. The cover of this one is beautiful as well. All these covers are pretty, although Sunrise on the Reaping I think could have had a better cover, personally. Anyway, then I have Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I love Abby Jimenez. I've only read 2 books of hers, but I loved both of them, and Just for the Summer was a 5-star read for me. I loved it so much. It was one of my favorite books of 2024. So I am super excited for this one as well. And I think it's kind of in that same world as Just for the Summer, Yours Truly, and Part of Your World. That's what it's called. I haven't read Part of Your World yet, but I have read Yours Truly and Just for the Summer. So I'm super excited that it's in that same little universe, because it's the universe that I've already have started reading from her. The cover again on this one is so pretty. And then the 6th book is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Again, the cover, stunning, but I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is one of my favorite authors of all time. Every single book I've read from her has been a 4 to 5 star. Most of them have been a 4.5 to 5 star, and I love her. I'm obsessed with her. I'm super excited for this one because it is giving like astronaut NASA kind of vibes, and I am here for that. I'm so excited. How many times can I say so excited? I did enter Goodreads as having a giveaway for this book. So I did enter it. Fingers crossed I win, but there's already so many people that have entered that giveaway, and they're only giving away like 10 copies, I think. So doubt I will win it, but that'd be really cool if I did. Now we are going to be getting into the books on my physical TBR that I have. The rest of them are all books that I already own. So I guess I'll just start pulling random ones and talking about them. The first one that I have is Babel, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, by R.F. Kuang. I have not read anything by R.F. Kuang yet, and I've heard amazing things about her writing and this book in particular, and also the Poppy War series trilogy, which I also want to get to at some point. But this book, when I got it, it came from Amazon, and it was in a bag, and it is all like bent and deformed. So that's not the greatest, and I'm sad about that, but hopefully the reading experience will still be great. I don't know a ton about this one, except I think it's in like a school. But yeah, I don't know too much about this, but I've heard really good things about it. There are some kids outside and my windows are open, so sorry if you hear them. So yeah, I don't know much about this one, but I'm still super excited. Like I said, I love going into books blindly. And then the next book is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I read my first book by him in 2024, and it was A Man Called Ove. Uva. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one either, but I loved that one. It was one of my top books of 2024, so I'm super excited to read more from him. And I've heard really great things about this one. From what I know, it is this group of people that are at a house showing and they get held hostage. Don't know much else about it besides that, but I am still super excited for this one as well. Luna. The next book is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. I have heard amazing things about this one too. I know that it's about friendship and it follows this group of friends. I don't know if it's just 2 friends or if it's more than that. Oh yeah, 2 friends. So it follows 2 women in their friendship throughout the years, starting in 1974 and goes for 30 years after. That's all I know about this one, but I loved the first Kristen Hanna book that I read this past year, The Nightingale, and I already have like 3 other of her books that are on my physical TBR, so I'm excited to, 2 of them are in this list. So, but I am super excited for this one. And then I have House in the Cerulean Sea. I have had this one on my TBR for quite a while, and I am super excited. How many times am I going to say super excited? I think the cover of this book is stunning, and I've heard the story is really powerful. And again, I don't know much about it, but I have been intrigued by it ever since I saw it. I unfortunately am someone that judges a book by the cover. This cover is beautiful, so of course I'm gonna have to get it and read it, but I've also heard great things about the story as well. So I know it's about like, I don't know, a professor on like some magical island or something, I think. Not 100% sure. And then we have When the Moon Hatched. This book is massive, but I have heard really great things about this one as well. And I know the second book is supposed to come out sometime in 2025. So when I bought this, I purposefully did not start reading it right away so that I could read it a little bit closer to when the second one comes out so that I don't have to wait a really long time. Don't know much about this one. I know that there's dragons in it and magic. I've heard The magic system is crazy in this book, and I'm really intimidated because there is like a 50-page like pronunciation and glossary at the beginning of this book. So I know it's going to be a very brain on kind of read, but I've heard really great things about this one. And then I have Throne of the Fallen by Kiri Maniscalco. I don't know much about this one, but I do know that Sarah Crowley has a little blurb in the front of it saying refreshing, enchanting, and captivating from the very start. And I love and trust Sarah Crowley's judgment in all the books that she reads. So I just know that I'm probably going to love this one too. But again, I'm going in blindly because I love doing that with books. And then I have Things We Never Got Over. This one, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to feel about it. I originally didn't know if I wanted to read this series because I don't think a romance book needs to be this big at all. But I did find the first two in the trilogy at Goodwill and decided to give it a chance. So I figured I would put it on my 25 and 2025 and just see how I feel about it. And if I like this one, then I will continue the rest of the series. But I've heard people love this series, so I want to give it a chance even though it's a huge book. I don't think a romance book needs to be this big, but we shall see if it's any good. And then I have Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I am so excited to read this series. I know that it is about very, very toxic relationships, but I have heard people love this series, and it's some people's favorite series of all time, which always intrigues me. And I know there's two different realms in this universe. There's the Magnolia Parks and then Daisy Hates. I do have the first Daisy Hates also, so I have the first two books in the universe. But I'm so excited to read these books because I have heard amazing things. And I've heard it's just like rich gossip, and I am here for it because I personally am probably never going to be in that realm of society, so I think it's really fun to read about, to experience it for myself, because I never will in real life. The next book I have on my list is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I have read a couple of Frida McFadden books in 2024, and I enjoy majority of them that I've read. Even the ones that have been like a little bit more predictable for me, I have still enjoyed. So I am excited to get into this little trilogy that she has, and I've heard this is like one of the most well-known books. I'm dropping things. This little series from her is one of the most well-known books of hers, so that really intrigues me because I want to know why it's one of the most well-known and loved books of hers. So I'm adding this one to my list as well. And then I have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I have heard great things about this book and Lynn Painter. I'm a little skeptical on this one as well because I have learned in 2024 that I'm not the biggest YA contemporary romance person anymore. I am 27, so I think I've just grown out of it a little bit. So I'm a little nervous because I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but people love this book in particular, but also this author, so I figured I would give it a chance and see for myself if I think it's worth the hype or not. The next one I have is One Dark Window. I have heard, again, amazing things about this duology. So I have One Dark Window, and I want to read this one in the fall time, I think, because I have heard it's a really good fall time read. Don't know much about this one except for I think the main character has like a monster in her head or something of that sort. Literally, that's all I know about it, so we'll see if it's good. And then I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is a young adult mystery thriller book, I believe. And this one is about a group of teenagers that get recruited to help solve a murder case, I believe, which sounds really interesting to me. And I know I just said YA contemporary romance isn't necessarily my thing anymore, but I still do love YA fantasy. So I'm hoping YA mystery thriller will also still be up my alley, but we shall see with this one. I've heard it can be very YA, so we shall see. But I am excited to give it a chance because I know people love this series as well. And then we have Wild Love by Elsie Silver, which I actually have already started this book. I'm like 120-ish pages into it, I believe. I'm reading it on my Kindle because it was available on Kindle Unlimited. Or not Kindle Unlimited, Prime Reading, because I don't have Kindle Unlimited, but I do have Prime Reading. So it was available on that, so I'm reading it on my Kindle right now, and I am really enjoying it so far. So I'm excited to continue this series. I know there's just one more out already, but this is my first Elsie Silver book, and I've heard nothing but great things about this author and this series. Both of the books that in this series came out last year, I think, in 2024. Yeah, this one came out in 2024. And they had so much hype behind them, so I wanted to see what it was about, and I'm definitely loving it so far. And then I have Circe by Madeline Miller. I loved Song of Achilles, so I am super excited to read another book by her, and I've had this book on my TBR for a very, very long time. So I am super happy to be getting it off of my TBR, hopefully sometime this year. I don't know too much about it, but I know that it is Greek mythology. Super intrigued. I'm not going to say excited. I'm super intrigued to read this one and see how it all plays out. We are on to the last 5 books in my 25 and 2025 list. Trials of the Emerald Sea. This is going to be my first Brandon Sanderson book. I am super interested in his writing because I know that he is like so big in the adult fantasy world, and I am a huge fantasy reader. I know he's huge in the adult fantasy world, so I definitely wanted to give him a chance and try his writing out, see it for myself if I like it. But I didn't really know where to start, and I don't even know if this is the right place to start with his books, but this one has been the one that has intrigued me the most out of all of the books that I've seen people talk about from him. So I'm starting with this one, and then I'll probably go into the Mistborn series, but because I've heard that's a good place to start too. But personally, this one has intrigued me the most out of all of his books, so I'm gonna start here. And then I have Heartless Hunter. I got this one for Christmas, and I am super excited to read this one. The little bit that I know about this one is that it's about a witch and a witch hunter, and the witch hunter doesn't know that the person that he's hunting is who he's actually hunting. That sounds amazing, and I'm pretty sure the second one of this book is also coming out this year, so that is great as well because I can not have to wait very long in between books. The Games Gods Play. I am super excited to read this one. I love Greek mythology, and this is a Greek mythology book as well. This one is about, there is a deadly contest called the Crucible where gods and goddesses will have mortals go and fight in their places. And this one is about the person that Hades is sending to fight, and this is a beautiful edition of it. The spine or the edges are beautiful, and then the artwork on the inside is also stunning. Super excited to read this one. It might be a case of judging a book by its cover because it's beautiful, but I also love fantasy books with trials and games in them and Greek mythology, so it has everything that I love in a book. I'm probably going to love it. 2 more books. The Wedding People by Alison Esbach. This is a book of the month book that I found at Goodwill, but I have heard pretty great things about this one. I've heard that it's a little rough and to start. And I know that it's about this girl who goes to a hotel to end her life, and every other guest at this hotel is all there for this super big extravagant wedding, and the bride of this wedding hears that this guest is here and hears why she's there and kind of tries to change her mind, I think. But it sounds really interesting, and I've heard that it's like a really moving story, so I'm super excited. Oh my god, I'm going to have to do a super excited count when I'm editing this to see how many times I have said this, because I feel like I've said it for every single book. I need to figure out better words. Anyway, hopefully I'll be getting to this one soon. The last book that I have on my 25 and 2025 list is Kristen Hanna's The Great Alone. This one I think is set in Alaska. I'm not quite sure what this one's about either, but it's Alaska 1974. So that will be interesting because I don't think I've ever read a book set in Alaska before. They might have been to Alaska or mentioned Alaska, but I don't think I've ever read a book fully set in Alaska. And it's in 1974, and I'm a big fan of the 70s, so hopefully this one will be great. Going in blind with this one. I bought this with my mom, and I was going between this one or another book from Kristen Hanna, and my mom thought that I would like this one more because she had read both of them already. So I went with this one because my mom knows me and my taste, and she thought that I would like this one over the other one that I was thinking. I don't remember what the other one was that I was thinking, but that is all of the books that I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and let me know if any of these books in my 25 and 2025 are also in yours, or just let me know some books that you're excited for to read in this new year, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!